Hi and good afternoon. My name is Sid. I am the lead grower here at Greenleaf Farm. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about the fall and fall gardening, different tasks that can be done, as well as things that you can grow in the fall. Because we live in the south and don't experience quite as harsh of winters as our companions up north, we're able to more successfully grow crops throughout the fall and winter. Um, but as we've seen the past couple years, the winters here have been getting a little more intense. But but yeah, we can still there's still a fair amount of things that we can do and grow. Um, an important date to keep in mind is around November 9th. That's like our estimated first frost date. Not sure if we'll get a frost in or not, but just for planting purposes, our first frost date is around November 9th. Okay, so one of the first things that you'll want to do, especially if you are going to be planting, is to, go through, remove any dead plant material or any weeds from the area that you plan on planting in this fall. And you'll also want to get your soil tested. Even if you're not planting in the fall, if you're planning on planting in the spring, you definitely want to get your soil tested so that way when you get those results back, you can add any compost or add any other amendments accordingly so that way by the time the spring comes, your soil will be ready because some of these amendments take a little bit of time to change our soil levels, whether it's the pH or adding nitrogen or whatever you need to do. The fall is also a good time to collect seeds from your perennials and annuals. Um, Seed saving is a great habit to get into. I'm pretty sure I talked about seed saving um, maybe last year or early this year. I did a seed saving workshop. Yeah, seed saving is very beneficial. It's good for saving money, first of all, free seeds. And also, saving seeds from really strong plants produces more strong plants. Um, they're great gifts for people. Um, just having seeds. I love collecting seeds and saving seeds, so I highly encourage you to do that. If you have any tropical plants, whether they're in pots or in the ground and can be dug up, now's the time to bring them in. Um, I don't have a garden at home because I live in a small apartment, but I do have house plants that I keep outside, and I haven't checked on them in probably a week, and so yeah, they're starting to experience the cold, and yeah, it's about time to start bringing those in. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. Um, and so yeah, if you have any tropical plants, you'll definitely want to bring those in. Um, if your summer crops are still producing, you are more than welcome to, still keep those around because we work on a farm. We have like a turnover, so we have to you know, get things out the ground in order to get new things in. But, if your tomatoes or your peppers are still producing, if you want to hang on to them, you're more than welcome to keep those in the ground. Just be sure to harvest off any of the fruit before that first frost comes. Um, so that way, it won't kill off. You'll at least be able to harvest the fruit before it kills off your plant. Um, the fall and the winter is, this is going to be the season to really pay attention to the weather because a frost can damage your plants literally overnight. So just make sure we're staying on top of the weather, checking it daily. That'll help us to be more successful. Um, this is also the time of year where you will see the streets lined with bags of leaves that people have raked from their yards and put on the street to be collected. I'm going to encourage you not to do that for many reasons. Um, the leaves provide the leaves are like their own ecosystem. The layer of leaves in your yard, that's its own little mini ecosystem. And so it provides homes for overwintering insects like butterfly, pupa, as well as chipmunks and toads and earthworms. And I may be saying this, and you're like, I don't want chipmunks and toads in my yard. They're not doing anything to you. Like let the little babies have a home. Um, and many insects lay their eggs in the leaf layer and feed on the leaf matter, which it can be problematic if they're like a pest. So like if one of your trees has an infestation and the leaves are falling, and we definitely don't want those insects to overwinter. But it's other beneficial insects use that as a home. And also, it increases your soil health by adding organic matter and nutrients to the soil. So instead, I'm going to encourage you to leave them where they are. Um, if there is a thick layer of leaves, that can be problematic. Um, it not necessarily, it doesn't have to be. It can be depending on your situation. But if you have to rake up the leaves for whatever reason, add them to your flower bed or add them to a compost pile. Or if it's like a really thick layer, you can just run over it with a lawnmower, and that'll add some air to it. It'll aerate it a little bit so it's not as thick and dense. Um, if your trees are showing signs of disease and you can see that on the leaves, then yes, definitely we don't want to harbor any disease in the soil. So yes, those can be removed. Or bring them, take them to if any of your friends have a garden or whatever, bring them there to be composted. Um, or save them use them as compost for the next year. You can put them in a bag and save them, but don't leave them on the side of the street to be thrown in the trash. That irritates me. Okay. Um, this is also a good time to plant annuals, things like pansies, your ornamental kale, um, mums, things like that can be planted now. Um, Also, planting trees and shrubs. Uh, it's a good time to do that in the cooler weather. And make sure you water them very well, especially because sometimes it can be we can have like dry spells in the fall and winter time. Luckily, we got this rain yesterday, though. I was very excited about that. What else? What else can you do? Planting your bulbs. You can plant your bulbs, your spring flowering bulbs, like your tulips, daffodils, crocus, hyacinth, things like that can be planted in the fall because it's that they need that long, cool, dormant period before they come back again or before they bloom in the spring. So fall is when you want to get those planted. If you planted sweet potatoes, you want to get those harvested before the first frost comes. Um, you can still plant your perennials. Um, if you are not planting in your garden bed, you want to plant a cover crop. You don't want to leave the soil bare. Um, that can be like an invitation for weeds, and we want to put a cover crop in if we can, and it'll still add nutrients to your soil while you're not growing anything. So some of the crops that you can plant in the fall, um, your root crops, things like beets, carrots, turnips, parsnips, and radishes, as well as any alliums like your onions, your leeks, garlic, um, greens like mustard, kale, collards, cabbage, chard, arugula, certain lettuce varieties. Um, as well as celery, kohlrabi, winter squash, pumpkins, things like that. So I am going to take y'all on a quick tour around the farm and show you what we've got going on this fall. And yeah, let's see. Okay, so I'm recording this on my phone, if you can't tell, and I don't know how to turn it around. I don't think I can turn it around in the middle of a recording. So over here, these are our plant starts that we've got. We've got collards, some kale. I took a few rosemary cuttings for myself. Our chard, some more kale, and we've got some celery. Back behind me, we've got, where is it? Right there. Those are our onions, all over here. And then in the hoop house, we're not going to be growing in here this in the fall or the winter. So we put down some cover crop. We've got some, I think it's ryegrass and clover that we mix together. And so, yeah, that'll just grow in here throughout the cold season. And then when we're ready to plant there again, we'll turn it under and get going. Oh, we do have one little pepper plant that we've been keeping because that pepper plant has produced some really big peppers, and we've been like collecting seeds from the ripened fruit. Once they turn red, we've been taking the seeds from them to use for next year. Again, got to stay on that seed saving, y'all. We still have our okra. It's starting to slow down a bit, so I imagine that will be pulled sometime soon. Probably next week our okra will be pulled up. And then we're going to plant all of our alliums over here. So we're going to plant all of our garlic, our onions, our leeks, all that stuff. We do have some radishes planted here. The germination on these is a little spotty, as you can tell. Like, it's not as consistent. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. We'll probably keep some of it around, but can't guarantee anything. And yeah, we still got little flower right there, little pink flower. That's a zinnia. Yeah, some of the plants just, once they went to seed, the seeds fell into the ground and they just bloomed again. So it's nice to still have some little flowers here in the fall. That's what I love about the summer and the spring, is all the pretty flowers, and then they die. Okay, I'll take you around, see what else we got going on. Okay, so along the fence bed, this is where I just planted some kale 2 days ago, so the kale will be coming up. We've got some arugula. Arugula is very delicious, very spicy and peppery. It makes a lovely addition to your salad. These are some green onions that are coming in very nicely. I can't remember what was planted here. I think maybe kale, like the seeds. And then we've got some carrots and some more carrots and beets. These are our golden beets, I believe. Yes. And then we've got turnips. The greens are coming in very nicely. It'll be a while before the roots are ready though. Over here, I don't know what's planted here, if anything. I'm not sure, maybe more kale. And so yeah, here we have 2 beds that we have covered up. Those beds, the soil is just very poor, and like it gets lots of weeds and just not good quality soil. So we're going to cover it up for the whole winter and hopefully kill off all of these weeds and amend the soil so that way next year they'll be ready to plant again. And some more beets. Okay, and I'll take you around the other side. Oh, here's our perennials are starting to die back. I think this is our mountain mint. It's starting to go to seed. And what else is over here? Peppermint starting to die back a little bit. Our rosemary's still going pretty strong, and our catnip. So if y'all need any rosemary or catnip, come get you some. Okay. Here's another bed that we're covering up, and yeah, as you can see, like coming out of both of the sides, like lots and lots of weeds. So it's just not a good bed to plant in. We planted some collard greens. Can't remember what's here. Maybe some carrots. More collard greens. These are a red variety of mustard green. Yeah, like a red, purpley mustard green. We need to go through and pick some weeds. What else? Don't know what's there. Some beets. And this is a greens mix that we grow. It has like 6 or 7 different varieties of greens that we mix together, scatter the seeds out, and then it makes like a really good, like a braising green, but it's also delicious fresh, like in a salad. Because it has like a bunch of different flavors in it. We got some more beets here, more beets here, and then our mustard greens. Our mustard greens are looking really good. I imagine they'll be ready very, very soon. So for all of y'all who have been asking me for mustard greens, check in with me in about a week or 2. Okay, and then we'll go across the street to the other side of the farm and see what we got going on over here. There's another little plot that's going to be covered up for a while. This was, I can't remember what kind of squash it was, but we're not very satisfied with the production, so we're going to be pulling those. We do have some butternut squash, which is one of my favorites. Come hit me up for some butternut squash soup, y'all. And then over here, I know we have carrots and parsnips planted over in these rows, but I don't really see any germination, so I'm not sure if we're going to redo them or what. And then we got a new high tunnel put in, and this is where we're going to put like some more greens like our cabbage, our Swiss chard, excuse me, things like that. And then we have our medicinal herb beds right here. Only one of them is planted in. There's some stinging nettle that is still going off, still thriving, but I'm probably gonna harvest off most of it pretty soon. Harvest it and dry it. And then we got some yarrow, and I'm trying to figure out which way I need to move my hand. Right there. We've got some comfrey. So yeah, I'm probably gonna harvest off what I can and dry it pretty soon. And as for these other beds, we don't have anything planted in there. This is our first year planting in any of these beds, and the soil in these beds, first of all, there's not a whole lot of soil in them, and then so what my job is going to be to figure out like what kind of soil these plants would thrive the best in, and we're going to put together a mix and fill these beds. Really do what we got to do to get these beds ready to be planted in when it's time in the spring. If you have any chickens like we do, you'll want to stock up on your hay. Just make sure you have a steady supply of hay, especially when it gets really cold, because it'll help to keep them warm. And you know, the fall and the winter time is just a really good time to work on any projects or any tasks. If you have any equipment that needs to be worked on, or just any projects that you've been too busy to do in the summer or the spring, because those are usually the busiest seasons, catch up on those tasks, do any maintenance, any cleaning. We a couple weeks ago just completely reorganized. I can kind of show you a little bit of what we did. I mean, if you haven't seen it before, then it's not gonna really mean anything to you, but we were really proud of the organization skills that we did as a team. But yeah, we completely reorganized in between our storage units, and so we've got all of our trellising put out, and then like all of our, these are the stakes that we use for our trellising. And I went ahead and whenever we put the trellising down, we used 9 stakes, and so I went ahead and bunched them up in groups of 9, so that way whenever it's time for tomato season again, we can just grab a bunch and go. But yeah, a good time to, you know, clean up and do different organizational tasks like that. Yeah, you want to say hi to the chickens? There's the chickens. Yeah, I'll have to let them out soon and get them some more food. They knocked their food tray over on the ground, which means they are hungry. So I'm going to do that. But yes, thank you for joining me. If there are any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at ckeel@knowledgequest.org. Come visit me at the farm. We always need help or volunteers, or if you just want to come check it out. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely day and are enjoying this season of Slow Down. Bye.